Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We are launching into a deep dive today that it just feels profoundly different.
Hmm.
It's less about, a historical event or some complex scientific finding. It feels more like receiving an inherited, incredibly well-worn treasure map.
Ready to chart the course. I think that's the perfect analogy. Our sort of material today it's fundamentally a guide.
A guide. I like that.
Yeah, it's a compilation of simple but profound life lessons, the kinds of things learned over many, many decades, and really designed to be passed down.
So it's not abstract philosophy.
Not at all. This is
No.
wisdom that's been distilled for the next generation. And
Mm.
I think it's important to note it's really focused on providing actionable advice, specifically for you, the young listener, trying to navigate a complex, fast-moving world.
And the format itself is just beautiful. The insights are structured around these short essays, memories, and most crucially, this concept of a hayat mektub.
Which translates to a life letter.
Exactly, a life letter written from an elder, a grandparent to a grandchild. And I mean, that framing just elevates the advice instantly, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's not, it's CEO's list of maxims for success.
Yeah.
It's a personal legacy being transferred with genuine love.
That familial context, I feel like it means the advice bypasses a lot of the usual emotional filtering we do.
It does. It lands with weight because, the sender's only vested interest is your long-term well-being.
There's no other agenda.
Zero agenda. So it moves from instruction to testimonial.
And why this matters to you, the listener, right now, is precisely because it offers this massive, invaluable shortcut.
A shortcut. Explain that.
Well, we're getting access to the accumulated wisdom, the biggest life lessons, without having to personally live every single mistake, every miscalculation firsthand.
Right.
We're looking for those aha moments, those insights that could save you years of regret or, misdirected effort down the road. It's
Right.
really about leveraging the authority of time itself. It's preemptive perspective. And that is the most difficult kind of perspective to acquire when you're young, when you're active and focused on the immediate future.
Because you feel like you have all the time in the world.
Exactly. So what we're attempting to do here is understand through the eyes of someone who has, finished the race,
Mm-hmm.
which investments in time, in emotion, in values, which ones actually pay the highest dividends over 50 or 60 years.
Not just over the next 6 months or the next budget cycle.
Precisely. That's the core of it.
So let's start with the very foundation of this wisdom. The source talks about this paradox of simplicity and depth. It mentions lessons that are basic, amada, simple, but deep life lessons learned over a lifetime. I find this phrase endlessly fascinating. How can something that is fundamentally simple, like, be honest or be present, how can that take an entire lifetime to truly grasp?
I think the difficulty and therefore the depth lies entirely in the execution.
The execution against what? Against the backdrop of real-world complexity and all these competing pressures. I mean, the truly simple lessons are always about fundamental human behavior, right? Ethics, basic relationships.
Sure, they're universal.
They are, yes. But they become incredibly complex the moment we allow external complicated systems to override those fundamentals.
That's a fantastic distinction. So you realize the rule is simple, choose kindness. But the depth comes when you have to apply that rule when you are exhausted or deeply offended or financially stressed.
Or facing a massive professional risk.
Exactly.
Simplicity is challenged by inconvenience.
Right.
For example, a simple lesson might be, do not worry about things outside your control.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's easy to accept.
Of course. Everyone nods along to that.
Everyone does. But implementing that requires profound self-discipline. It requires recognizing that the modern world is actively designed to hijack your attention and focus it precisely on uncontrollable external variables.
Social media outrage, global news cycles.
Geopolitical instability, you name it. The elder has learned, through decades of trial and error, that this simple truth is a shield against the world's external chaos.
So if the lesson is simple, the depth comes from the 1,000 times you failed to execute that advice?
Yes.
The 1,000 times your life circumstances made it difficult or demanded a short-term selfish choice? That long-term consistency, that's the mastery.
Absolutely. What makes a lesson truly deep is that final realization that true meaning, peace, and long-term contentment, they often lie beneath the chaotic surface of our daily striving and routine. The simplicity is the enduring truth. The depth is the lifelong struggle to align your everyday actions with that truth, especially when it's inconvenient or unpopular.
And the person writing this letter, the elder, has either achieved that alignment or...
Or, and this is critical, they deeply understand the excruciating cost of failing to achieve it, and they want to save you from that cost.
Which brings us naturally to the next point the source highlights. They call it Zaman and Erdetkliri.
The teachings of time itself.
Exactly. We're exploring this idea that time is the ultimate non-negotiable educator, maybe the only one that truly matters in the end.
It is the great filter, and it's the ultimate validator.
What do you mean by that?
Well, time separates the ephemeral trends, the fads and quick victories, from the enduring truths, the foundational skills, and lasting relationships. When an elder speaks from this perspective of time's teachings, they are implicitly validating patience, resilience, and especially the power of compound effort.
And they're contrasting that with what we see everywhere today.
They are. They're contrasting it with this crushing modern pressure for instant results, instant wealth, instant expertise, instant validation, which, as we know, so often just leads to burnout and superficiality.
It's the difference between, say, chasing every shiny new object, every new crypto coin that pops up, every viral marketing strategy, versus consistently investing in bedrock skills and building a reputation of integrity over, 2 decades. Time favors the consistent, the patient, the dedicated.
But here's the challenge for the younger listener, for you. Time feels infinite. So that patient, dedicated approach, it feels unbearably slow.
It feels like you're falling behind.
That's the heart of the conflict. The elder knows that time is the most finite resource. But because they have experienced its scale, they appreciate that some processes must take time to mature. They are telling the young person, if you want something truly valuable, you must pay the tax of time.
And that perspective, it instantly validates the virtue of patience.
It does. It anchors the advice in lived reality, not just some theoretical ideal.
And if we truly accept time as a teacher, the entire narrative we build around setbacks it shifts completely.
How so?
We stop resisting challenges, we stop seeing them as roadblocks or proof of our failure, and we start viewing them as mandatory curriculum.
Mandatory curriculum, I love that.
Yeah.
Necessary for deep foundational learning.
Exactly.
And this is where the simple lessons gain their depth. The elder knows that some things simply cannot be rushed.
Like what?
Well, genuine trust in a partner. True mastery of a craft that requires deliberate practice, or profound emotional healing after a loss. These things are non-negotiable, and they require the authority of time.
And if you rush them?
When a young person rushes these things, they build on a shaky foundation. The elder's perspective is essentially a geotechnical survey of life. It's a warning to the recipient about where the quicksand lies.
And all of this profound, simple wisdom is channeled through that beautiful framing device we mentioned at the start.
The life letter.
The beard, the hayat mektub, the grandparent's life letter to a grandchild. That format is just so critical to the delivery mechanism.
It is. It's the ultimate transfer of legacy. In many cultures, it's a deeply sacred act. The message is infused with unconditional love and zero judgment.
Which makes it extremely difficult for the young listener to just dismiss it.
You can't just write it off as nagging or outdated or irrelevant, which is often the reflexive defense mechanism against unsolicited advice.
All right.
The letter format implies intimacy, vulnerability, and a rare, genuine truth.
It's an emotional artifact. I mean, if you get a text from a professor telling you to work harder, you might resent it.
Sure.
But if you receive a handwritten letter from your grandparent detailing the biggest mistakes they made and how much they love you, that just hits differently. It bypasses youthful cynicism entirely.
And critically, the intent of this letter is not dictation.
It's not a list of commands.
No. It is not about telling the grandchild which career to choose or who to marry. It is about providing context and perspective for future decisions. It's saying, here are the enduring patterns I observed over 80 years. Here are the things I prioritized that genuinely mattered, and the ephemeral things I chased that just vanished. Use this historical data to inform your future decisions.
It provides the tools, the criteria for evaluation, maybe, to make wise choices rather than just telling them which choices to make.
Yeah.
That shift from instruction to framework is a profound act of respect.
It truly is. And it's an act of profound hope.
Yeah.
The elder is not trying to live their life again through the grandchild. They're trying to maximize the grandchild's chance at peaceful fulfillment. They're giving them the answer key to the exam they just finished.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
I'm ready.
Because now we move from the philosophical foundation to the empirical evidence. Once the letter establishes the authority of time and the intimacy of the connection, the elder inevitably turns to their personal history. And they provide the ultimate proof points. The quiche killer and killer list.
Yeah.
The inventory of regrets and the inventory of moments of profound gratitude.
And this section, this is the core of the guidance for you, the listener. The elder is essentially reverse engineering happiness and proactive living.
What do you mean reverse engineering?
They're saying, don't just listen to my success stories. Learn from my mistakes so you can avoid them.
Yeah.
And learn from my deepest joys so you can cultivate them.
Okay, let's analyze the quiche killer first, the regrets. Why do elders feel compelled to share these? I mean, it must be painful to relive mistakes, so this has to be a direct and powerful educational tool.
It is a vital tool.
No.
And it's designed specifically to foster proactive living now. Studies on this are fascinating, and they consistently show that the nature of regrets among those reaching the end of life, it falls into a very distinct, heartbreaking pattern.
Pattern?
Yes. And when we look at our source material, the regrets are almost never what the young listener expects.
Meaning it's almost never, I regret not getting that higher title, or I regret not owning that expensive sports car.
Precisely. The critical lesson for you, the younger listener, is that the biggest regrets are almost universally about omission, not commission.
Things you didn't do.
Exactly. They're about things not done, risks not taken, words not said, or time misspent on things that ultimately didn't matter. The regrets are profoundly relational. They are centered on missed opportunities for personal emotional growth.
Can you give us a detailed example of how this plays out? Because this is where the shortcut saves decades. If you, the listener, are currently chasing a high-stress career goal, how does the elder's regret list challenge that prioritization?
Okay, let's take a common one. The regret of working too much. The elder doesn't regret working hard. They regret miscalculating the half-life of their obligations versus their relationships.
The half-life, that's interesting.
They recall prioritizing the client dinner that they knew was important for a potential promotion over, say, attending their child's third-grade school play.
I think everyone can picture that dilemma.
Everyone can. And 20 years later, the client dinner is utterly forgotten. It's irrelevant. But the memory of missing the school play or the feeling that their child felt neglected, that is a permanent, sharp regret.
That distinction is vital. It tells the young listener to optimize their life for connection and presence, because those are the assets that depreciate the most quickly. Children grow up fast, parents age, friends move away, and they are the most universally regretted when lost.
You can always get another job or recover from a financial loss, but you cannot recover lost time with a loved one. It's just not possible.
And this prioritization is the actionable takeaway.
It is. If the elder deeply regrets not spending enough time with loved ones, that should prompt you to look at your schedule today, this week, and ask, am I prioritizing tasks that will be irrelevant in 5 years over family interactions that will be foundational memories in 50 years?
It's that harsh hindsight, giving to you in advance.
The elder provides that clear, harsh hindsight, giving the young person the chance to shift their priorities immediately before the window closes.
Or what about another one, like the regret of not saying I love you enough
Mm.
or not resolving some decade-old feud with a family member?
That's a huge one.
That's a risk not taken. The risk of vulnerability, of being the one to reach out and apologize first. It seems so simple, but that emotional risk feels monumental in the moment.
It does. And the avoidance of short-term discomfort often leads to long-term regret. The elder realizes with painful clarity that maintaining one's pride or avoiding a difficult conversation was a terrible trade-off for the decades of warmth, connection, and peace that forgiveness or reconciliation would have provided.
So the Kiska list is really an argument against fear.
Against fear and against pride, yes.
Now let's pivot to the positive side. Celebrating the Iggy killer, the moments of gratitude, the good things, the moments they cherish the most.
Hmm.
If the regrets are about missed opportunities rooted in fear or misprioritization, these moments must represent the core experiences that genuinely sustain happiness over a lifetime.
They do. And when you analyze the common threads in these gratitude lists, they're almost universally characterized by simplicity, profound human connection, and often the quiet triumph over adversity.
So not big flashy moments.
Rarely. They are the moments when people felt most truly themselves, most connected to something larger, or most intensely in love. They are rarely defined by material accumulation.
They are the intangible achievements. The moments where you weren't accumulating things, but you were accumulating life experience, meaning, and resilience.
Exactly. And we can connect this list directly to the true definition of a successful life from the elder's vantage point.
Right. What does success look like from the finish line?
True success isn't the resume or the net worth. It is defined by these moments of profound gratitude and connection. The road trip taken with a minimal budget, the difficult time shared with a friend that solidified your bond, the simple joy of watching a sunset with someone you love.
So the elder is essentially saying, I succeeded because I had these moments.
And they required presence and intention, not wealth.
The implication for you, the listener, is arguably the most powerful lesson in this entire deep dive.
I would agree.
Don't wait for retirement or a crisis to realize what your icky moments are. The lesson is to recognize and cultivate these good things while you're living them.
Mm-hmm.
To be present enough in the small, simple acts of daily life to know that this is a moment that is going to sustain you decades from now.
It's training yourself to be an active, appreciative collector of meaning, rather than passively letting life happen to you. The inventory of gratitude is a guide to where the young listener should actively invest their attention and energy today.
So if you want a life filled with these Iggy killers,
You must prioritize the simple joys right now. You have to recognize that walking in nature or having a deep conversation is a high-value asset, not just a time filler between productive tasks.
okay, moving into the third major section, the elder's wisdom isn't just about personal acquisition of knowledge. It's also about what they see being actively lost in the world the younger generation is inheriting.
Right.
The source focuses intensely on Kebolan, Deirler, Userin, Duschenseler reflections on lost values. They are essentially warning their grandchild about the deteriorating infrastructure of a peaceful life.
And this is a critical sociological observation rooted in deep experience. The elders are noticing that the necessary psychological and social values that once made life manageable and communal, they're deteriorating because of modern pressures.
They're not just being nostalgic then.
No, I don't think so. They're warning that operating without these foundational values, specifically patience, gratitude, and neighborly relations, makes modern life exponentially harder, more frantic, and ultimately lonelier.
Okay, let's take a deep dive into the first lost value they mention, sabar, patience. We touched on this earlier in the context of time as a teacher, but why is the elder flagging this specifically as a lost value? What does patience even mean in a modern context?
Patience, as the elder embodies it, is so much more than just waiting in line without getting angry.
Right.
It is internal resilience. It means enduring cognitive friction, accepting that real effort requires a lengthy, often uncomfortable gestation period, and refusing to rush the organic process of growth.
Whether that's learning a skill or...
or developing a character trait or building a relationship. It's the psychological muscle to accept delayed gratification as the normal, the normative path to true mastery.
And we know exactly why this value is eroding. Technology has fundamentally rewired our relationship with time and satisfaction. Every app, every platform, it trains our brains with instant feedback loops. We expect food delivery in minutes, answers from a search engine in milliseconds, communication instantaneously.
And this conditioning creates a systemic intolerance for any friction or delay whatsoever.
So,
And that intolerance, that immediate need for the payoff, is the enemy of any meaningful long-term pursuit. The elder recognizes that deep learning, the mastery of a complex skill like advanced engineering or AI programming or even becoming a genuinely skilled musician, requires that 10,000-hour investment.
which is all about patience.
It's all patience. When that value is lost, the young person is trapped in a cycle of surface-level engagement. They bounce from one quick fix to the next, abandoning processes the moment they become difficult because they lack the emotional muscle to wait for the profound, long-term, non-instantaneous results.
So the advice on patience is essentially, the best things in life take slow, focused, consistent time. And if you quit when it gets hard simply because the reward isn't immediate, you are voluntarily sacrificing the deepest, most resilient achievements.
The elder is telling the young person, respect the process. It's an instruction to respect the organic timeline of reality. Think about building a career. True leadership isn't learned in a 2-day workshop.
Not a chance.
It's forged over a decade of difficult decisions, failures, mentorship, and self-correction. The elder recognizes that patience is the currency you need to purchase that kind of depth. It's the bridge between simple effort and proven mastery.
And without it...
Without it, you, the listener, will forever remain a beginner, chasing novelty.
Okay, next value on the list, Tishakura, gratitude or thanks. Again, we need to distinguish this from the broad personal egiki list we talked about.
Right.
This is about the act of expressing thanks, of genuine external appreciation for others' contributions, even the small ones.
And this speaks to the social and psychological function of gratitude. Sincere, frequent, and specific expression of thanks is the most essential social lubricant.
It's what keeps society running smoothly.
It is. It fosters positive, cooperative environments, it strengthens communal and professional bonds, and perhaps most importantly, it directly counteracts entitlement. And the elder is watching entitlement rise as a silent killer of relationships.
So I can see that. If you are at a cafe and the server brings your coffee, the reflexive thanks is one thing. But the sincere, deep gratitude that acknowledges the time, the effort, the logistics, the intent behind that act, that transforms the interaction from a simple transaction into a mutual human recognition.
Exactly. The elder sees a shift where service, kindness, and effort from others are increasingly just expected rather than appreciated. And this lack of expressed gratitude diminishes the value of the contributor, the person providing the service or the kindness, and slowly, corrosively erodes social capital and goodwill.
Why be kind if your kindness is just viewed as a mandatory obligation?
That is the core question. The elder sees gratitude as a daily ritual that acknowledges our interdependence. It reminds us we don't succeed in a vacuum. By teaching the young listener to be meticulously grateful, to say thank you with specificity and sincerity, they are teaching them how to build and maintain strong relational ecosystems that will support them during hard times.
It's a powerful lesson in the microeconomics of the spirit.
That's a good way to put it. Every genuine expression of thanks is a deposit in a relational bank account. The difference between feeling entitled to your comfort and feeling grateful for your comfort is the difference between constant dissatisfaction and consistent joy. The elder wants the grandchild to choose joy, and that starts with thankfulness.
And finally, one of the most specific values they list as lost, komşuluk ilişkileri.
Neighborly relations.
Yeah. Why focus so intensely on local, proximal community bonds in an age where we can talk to anyone on Earth instantly?
This focus is a profound counterargument to the globalized digital life we all lead. The elder highlights the crucial difference between vast digital networks and tangible, immediate human networks. Historically, neighborliness was fundamental for survival.
Mutual aid, shared local identity, collective security.
All of it. If you're communicating with someone across the continent about a niche hobby, that's great, that's wonderful. But if a sudden weather event cuts the power in your town, they can't physically help you.
Right. The elder is recognizing the loss of reliable physical proximity.
And that loss carries severe implications for personal resilience. Modern urban isolation is a genuine crisis. Online connections are valuable for intellectual or emotional kinship, but they are fragile during a crisis, and they simply cannot replace the tangible help, the security, and the consistent presence of a good, reliable neighbor.
So when the source talks about lost neighborliness, it's a warning.
It's a warning about investing all your social capital in platforms that could disappear overnight, or in networks that are physically useless when you need a cup of sugar, or a ladder, or someone to watch your kid for 10 minutes.
The lesson here isn't to abandon the internet.
Of course not. It's to find balance and to invest intentionally in the people who live within a mile of you. It's recognizing that resilience, safety, and spontaneous human connection are fundamentally local, not global.
And that requires proactive effort, especially in a modern apartment complex or a suburb where interaction is often minimal.
It does. The elder is advising the young person. Open your door. Offer help. Learn your neighbor's name. Don't be afraid to create that tangible human network. It's an essential ingredient for a thriving local life and a vital countermeasure against the atomization of society.
So what does this all mean?
The big question.
Yeah. We've journeyed through this philosophical foundation based on the authority of time. We examined the empirical evidence provided by the elders' regrets and gratitude, and we assessed the threats posed by losing core values like patience and community.
The synthesis is the truly actionable advice for you, the listener. It all connects. The lessons from Section 1 are validated by the regrets and gratitude in Section 2.
And they're threatened by the loss of core values in Section 3.
Exactly. The entire collection of wisdom points the young listener toward building a life rooted in connection, presence, and long-term discipline. A life that will actually withstand the inevitable turbulence.
So how can you, the listener, immediately apply this knowledge to change your current trajectory? Where is the learner's edge in leveraging this collective wisdom?
I think the most practical and powerful immediate application comes from engaging with Section 2, the key skill list.
The regrets.
The regrets. We encourage spending time right now evaluating your personal key skip potential.
Your regret potential.
Yes. The exercise is simple, but terrifyingly effective. Ask yourself, what actions are you currently avoiding today? What words are you leaving unsaid? What genuine risks are you sidestepping? What crucial time are you neglecting that you might regret in 20 or 50 years?
That shifts regret from a passive historical consequence into an active, proactive warning signal for today's behavior.
Right.
If you realize your potential regret is, I never learned that second language, you know exactly what evening class to sign up for next week.
Precisely. It allows you to use the elder's hindsight as your own foresight. You look at the things that bring genuine, simple joy, the igi moments, and you intentionally schedule more of those into your life.
If the elder cherished quiet walks in the park, you prioritize shutting down your screen and taking a walk today.
You start accumulating life experience and connection, not just tasks on a to-do list.
And we have to connect that back to Section 3. If you, the listener, identify a long-term goal, a relationship you want to build, a skill you want to master, a creative project, and you find yourself frustrated by the slow progress,
Then you must remind yourself of the erosion of patience. The remedy for the fast-paced life is not necessarily to move slower in all things, but to allocate your limited patience wisely.
focus on process over product.
Yes. The emphasis on patience in Time's teachings encourages prioritizing the journey and the mastery, rather than just the final, instant outcome. The journey is the curriculum. If it feels hard and slow, that's evidence you're pursuing something valuable that cannot be faked or rushed.
It's advice that's fundamentally rooted in internal simplicity, maintaining integrity, patience, connection, all directed at navigating a world that constantly rewards external complexity and speed. The complexity is external. The solution, the elder suggests, must be internal.
My final analysis of this collected wisdom is that it's a profound call to sobriety. Sobriety about one's pace, one's priorities, and one's relational investments. It teaches the young listener that the ultimate success metric, the final scorecard, is the quality of their relationships and the peacefulness of their conscience.
Not the height of their career ladder.
Not at all. The elder has finished the game and is sharing the winning strategy. Slow down for the important things, connect deeply, and appreciate constantly.
It suggests a complete reevaluation of what adulting even means. It's not about accumulating things.
It's about accumulating durable, meaningful experiences and relationships.
And realizing that the most resilient life is not one built on personal solitude or purely digital connection.
But one deeply interwoven into the tangible fabric of the local community, requiring genuine gratitude and consistent patience to maintain.
We took a profound deep dive today into the distilled, actionable advice of elders, channeled through that moving concept of a life letter. We looked at lessons derived from the authority of time. We used the crucial difference between regrets, keshkler, and gratitude in killer as guides for future conduct. And we acknowledged the necessity of reviving lost values.
Specifically, the durable strength found in patience, genuine appreciation, and the resilience provided by local community. It's a powerful testament to the idea that while technology, economic systems, and culture change rapidly,
The core truths don't.
the core truths of human fulfillment and lasting happiness remain remarkably stable, demanding the same internal discipline and relational prioritization across generations.
And as we wrap up, here is a final provocative thought based on this incredible source material directed right at you. The biggest, most life-altering lesson is often hidden in plain sight, waiting for the authority of time to painfully reveal it. So think about this.
Okay.
If you were sitting down today to write your life letter 50 years from now, addressed to your current self, what single piece of advice would you most desperately hope your current self would hear and implement today? What is the kiski you are currently creating that you need to stop?
That thought experiment shifts the advice from external wisdom to internal accountability. It forces you, the listener, to confront your own long-term priorities right now.
Indeed. We encourage you to reflect on these sources, take inventory of your own life's priorities, and recognize that the wisdom you seek is already present in the simple, inconvenient truths you often avoid. Until the next deep dive, invest wisely in your future self.